Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we will talk about the top 10 cheapest activities in London. If you are visiting London on a small budget, we have some great news, travelers. There are some cheap or free things you can do in London. As one of the world's most visited cities, London is a melting pot of history, culture, and business. Situated on the banks of the River Thames, London's allure lies in its provocative atmosphere, cultural diversity, and historical significance. Most people who live in London will either tell you that they love it or hate it. There's no in between. London's expansive and bustling streets are some of the most densely populated in Europe. The city has evolved to become one of the most multicultural in the world today. Home to world-class museums, theaters, attractions, nightlife, and cuisine, it's literally impossible to run out of things to do in London. However, London isn't a city for everybody, and the cost of living and overpopulation can prove too stressful for some. But for those who can stick it, it's one of the most fascinating and enticing cities in the world. 1. Museums and galleries. One of the best things about London is the fact that most of its world-class museums are completely free of charge. Whether you're an art fanatic, history buff, or a lover of science, you'll find a museum to suit your interests. London definitely isn't celebrated for its great weather. If your time in this city coincides with a rainy spell, it's likely then meandering through the fossil-lined halls of the Natural History Museum, or marveling at giant Renaissance canvases in the National Gallery is a great weather-appropriate alternative. Some of London's best-known museums include the Victoria and Albert Museum, the Science Museum, the British Museum, and the Imperial War Museum. London is home to Britain's best art galleries too. You could spend hours wandering the halls and corridors of major ones, such as the National Gallery and the National Portrait Gallery, where the walls tell countless stories of history, myth, and legend. 2. See an authentic Shakespeare performance at the Globe. There's nothing more quintessentially English than Shakespeare. The Globe is a reconstruction of the Elizabethan Playhouse, where the Bard's canonical plays were performed in the 1600s. Located on the south bank of the River Thames, visitors are treated to open-air authentic performances of some of Shakespeare's best plays, such as Hamlet, Love Labour's Lost, and As You Like It. Performances at the Globe are stripped back to how they would have been performed during the day, giving visitors an authentic experience. There are no microphones or lights, and all of the music is performed live on period instruments. 3. Hop on a Boris bike. Although it may seem daunting to attempt to ride a bike around one of the most densely populated and congested cities in the world, London is surprisingly well-equipped for cyclists. Transport for London's cycle hire scheme with Santander allows you to rent a bike with your credit or debit card. You might hear locals referring to the bikes as Boris bikes, which is due to the fact that Boris Johnson was mayor of the city when the scheme came into practice. So don't get confused. With docking stations all over the city and wide cycle lanes on almost every road, there are plenty of places your Boris bike can take you. 4. Take a stroll around one of London's many parks. When you're surrounded by towering buildings and masses of people in London, it certainly doesn't feel like nature is close by. Surprisingly, London is full of parks, gardens, and quiet places to just chill. If you want to take a break from the hustle and bustle of the city and get some fresh air, as fresh as the air can be in London, that is, then take a stroll around one of London's many parks. One of the best times to go is during the autumn months, when the trees turn all hues of yellow, orange, and red, and piles of leaves cover the ground. Often, especially during the summer months, you can find open-air events such as theater and concerts taking place. What better way to soak up some English sunshine? If you sense some sarcasm in that question, that's because it's very much there. 5. Attend free events and festivals. London's diverse cultural calendar ensures that there's always something happening. From music festivals to cultural events, many are free to attend. Notable mentions include the Notting Hill Carnival, the Thames Festival, and various neighborhood street parties. 6. Discover London's best-known landmarks on foot. Although London stretches over a great distance, the city center is extremely walkable. The best way to discover a city is on your own 2 reliable feet. We recommend spending a day wandering around the center to get a grasp of London's vibrant and busy atmosphere. If you can't decide where to start, consider a self-guided walking tour for just €10. Jump right in at the deep end in Westminster, where the hordes of tourists can be slightly overwhelming. But the stunning grandeur of Britain's Parliament buildings is well worth the slight claustrophobia. See the magnificence of Westminster Abbey, the burial place of kings and queens for centuries. If you want a little guidance, you can opt for this guided tour for under €17. 7. Take a cheap or free tour in London. Most cities have caught on to the idea of free walking tours, which are essentially free, but out of courtesy, you're expected to provide the guide with a small donation after everyone has applauded at the end. There are numerous free tours that you can join in on in London. Strawberry Tours is a great company that offers a variety of tours to suit everyone's interests. Their London in a Day tour will take you on a journey past some of the city's most iconic landmarks, such as St. Paul's Cathedral and the City of Westminster. At lunchtime, you'll stop at a traditional pub for a delicious lunch of fish and chips, where you can ask your guide any unanswered questions you might have so far. Then you'll carry on to see the Queen's Abode, Buckingham Palace, and St. James Palace, which King Henry VIII had built for his most infamous wife, Anne Boleyn. 8. Pay your respects at Highgate Cemetery. Perhaps going to a cemetery isn't exactly at the top of your list of things to do in London, but this one is worth it, trust us. Located in North London, Archway Tube Stop, Highgate Cemetery is an eerily beautiful maze of tombs and graves belonging to normal Londoners, as well as some great philosophical and literary thinkers. You can find the graves of novelist George Eliot, poet Christina Rossetti, and most notably, the tomb of sociologist and author of the Communist Manifesto Karl Marx. If your inner socialist is feeling particularly adventurous, you can delve further into the cemetery to find Marx's original burial place. It's smaller, less ornate, and more authentic than the new tomb, where his body was reburied in 1954. Just keep your eyes peeled. 9. Experience one of London's open mic nights. London's nightlife is fantastic. Each part of the city offers something completely different. From huge clubs for those who want to go until 8 o'clock a.m., to the more alternative venues with live music in places like Brixton and Shoreditch, to the traditional night spent singing karaoke classics in a dingy but traditional pub. However, with a pint in London setting you back at least £5 most of the time, a night out in this crazy capital can certainly derail your budget. Open mic nights have become a part of British culture over the years, and lots of pubs around the city offer open mic nights on weekdays and weekends, and they're happy to welcome anyone. 10. Survey the city from a giant walkie-talkie. The Sky Garden is probably the best place to score a breathtaking free view of central London's skyline. Its strange and distinctive shape has earned 20 Fenchurch Street the nickname the walkie-talkie, so don't be surprised if you hear locals talking about a seemingly obsolete object all the time. Although this skyscraper isn't the most beautiful addition to London's skyline, its architectural misgivings can be forgiven. They made up for the visual atrocity by providing a free viewing garden, where you can take in London's vastness from above. You could spend a fortune reserving a table to eat here, but if you're on a budget, all you need to do is book your free visit in advance. If you'd rather watch the sunset on this concrete jungle from outside, there are plenty of other spots around the city to get a fantastic view. Check out the view from Primrose Hill, Parliament Hill, or Greenwich Park. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.